What is up? Oh, I gotta turn that down. Okay, 2 seconds. Boom. And as you guys can tell, I am still sick. My dad got really sick this past week, and then my mom got sick, and I got sick from helping my dad and doing a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm luckily at the end of it now. I still sound super sick, and it's all decided to be in my throat and in my jaw. And so I'm gonna do my best this morning, not only to be able to be loud enough for you guys to be able to even understand me, but also I don't know how long my mouth is gonna last because it's been so swollen, like my whole mouth and my bottom jaw in general. So it's like all the things that I need to speak are like meh. But I still wanted to be able to do this morning because I'm like, I feel great, but my mouth. So I'm gonna do my best this morning. Also to be audible for you guys as well. I'm gonna like shove my face in my mic a little bit. So that way, even when I'm not super loud, you guys can hear me. And yes, I am painfully and super aware that you guys can only hear me out of one earbud if you guys are listening to some headphones. I did other things this weekend, like trying to overclock my computer and figure out what's going on with the fact that it won't play my games now. I'm not really sure what the F is going on. It for some reason my computer keeps switching back and forth between which GPU it wants to use because I've got two. I've got one, for my gaming and then the other basically for the rest of my computer. And I had it all set up and everything, and then all of a sudden it was like, we don't really know what we're doing. So I've been trying to figure that out instead all weekend, and I didn't download my stuff. And I realized it this morning, and I was like, well, damn. You guys are just gonna have to listen out of one earphone. But if you're at work or you're getting ready for work, that's not too bad. Because you need to still have, your wits about you so you don't hurt yourself or, happen to have like someone try and like break in or crazy things. I don't know. I'm also tired, so a little delirious. That goes in with it being sick. All right, so let's just jump on in here this morning. So we got a lot of really good stuff. I don't have a whole lot today because there really hasn't been a whole lot of things going on. A few games dropping here and there, some more rumors as always when it comes to gaming and whether or not we might actually get something in the near future-ish, I guess. But one thing that has come forward is the new Avatar The Last Airbender game. And yes, it is an RPG, MMORPG. And supposedly it is in development now. For those of you who don't know what Avatar The Last Airbender is, you either haven't been on any social media anytime within the last, I don't know, 10 years. But this is an animated show that was written and drawn, directed, all that fun stuff by Nickelodeon and another company in South Korea. And it has been growing increasingly how much people like absolutely love Avatar The Last Airbender, especially here, but worldwide too. If you guys, like I said, have been paying attention to social media, the last Summer Olympics that we had, a lot of people did homages towards a bunch of different anime or animated related things. Avatar The Last Airbender was one of them. But it is one of my favorite TV shows, I think, of all time. And is very, what's the word? It's very unique for its time. And it's also very unique for the age range for a lot of the things that are in the show. And that's one of the reasons why I really love it, along with why everyone else loves it as well. Um, so the last video game developed with the Avatar license was Legend of Korra based adventure, for those of you who remember that, by Activision back in 2014, which was a third-person beat-em-up action-adventure game by Platinum Games for major consoles, and the 3DS actually received a strategy RPG in a similar vein to Fire Emblem. Both of those games posted similarly mixed scores, with no further games ever since because of those scores. I think a lot of people had a lot in mind for what they wanted them to be, and it just didn't live up to the expectations for what it could be, and especially at the time. Reported on Avatar News, details were shared about 2 out of 4 games in development, with the Square Enix development Avatar mobile games announced last year being included as one of the 4. At least one of these games will feature the original Avatar: The Last Airbender characters, though will be recast with new Asian and Indigenous voice actors. The article makes a note that the casting applies to the voice acting cast for the games and not the cast of the live action Netflix, which a lot of people are super stoked about as well, for those of you who would like to look into that. The article notes that the games have been in development for a few years and states that the release dates will be quite soon. It also describes the genres that the Avatar: The Last Airbender games will be taking after, with RPG being the main one. But they may feature mechanics that are present in action-adventure games as well. The article notes that there are no specific details regarding the gameplay or anything else so far. In regard to the MMORPG, the details about it are also quite sparse. This includes no details for platforms it will be targeting, or if the MMO will be linked to the aforementioned console games. Sorry, I cannot read. I can't do nothing this morning. The studio involved for these 2 games are working in collaboration with Paramount's Avatar Studios, but have yet to be disclosed. Regardless, this news may be exciting for Avatar fans, and with the games being in collaboration project with the original creators, these new video games can help expand the lore, especially into, for those of you who don't know, these are also like mangas as well, but they're not really mangas. They're more like comics, but not. There's a word for it. And there's a lot of things that could be used, especially in games and things like that. So I did see a couple of different Reddits and a couple of different Facebook groups, especially the Atla groups that were talking about these things and stuff like that. And that actually is one of the hopes of a lot of people, is that they'll really, really start to go into the background lore for it, things like that. So here's to hoping on that for real, because this, like I said, it's one of my favorite shows of all time. And I love the storyline, everything that has to do with it, every character involved in it, including, the not so great characters as well, which makes, the characters that people love so much even better. But we'll see where this goes. I will be personally keeping a close eye on this, because it is my, one of my favorite TV shows of all time. But I definitely really want something to come from this, especially if you can play as more than one character from the original. Oh, that would be so amazing. So amazing. So speaking of some amazing things, I have an amazing story, or an amazing blog that I've read, and then I have an not so amazing one right after. So we're going to start with the good news. Good news than bad news, right? Okay, so Epic Games is making hundreds of temp testers into full employees with benefits, and people are super friggin' stoked about this. And man, Reddit is just as excited. So Epic Games is hiring the US-based contingent workers full-time and with benefits. Epic confirms to The Verge. the Fortnite developer and extending the offer to quality assurance QA testers as well as other eligible contract-based employees. The news first surfaced an employees facing memo obtained by The Verge. In the memo, the company writes it will offer full-time at-will employment to eligible U.S. contingent workers. At that, many of these offers will be effective April 4th, 2022, but it also notes that some workers won't receive the offer, citing there are a few exceptions in which it will make sense for both the worker and Epic to maintain contingent worker statuses. So, what's really nice about this too is this is also going to start opening up things not just for Epic themselves, but also for other companies as well, which is really freaking awesome, especially for people like their QA testers, different contract testers, different things like that, that will be able to benefit from this, long term. But I'm not going to lie, like QA testers and people that do things like this remind me a lot of servers in the food industry, which is basically like working for minimum and working, where you can to gain as much as you can. And the opportunity to be able to work is there. The opportunity to make money is there. But to actually obtain and to achieve that is very far and few in between. Now, I know what that sounds like because there are people out there who are like, I serve and I make great money at it. And that is absolutely wonderful. And I'm so glad. But there are a lot of people that try and do the same types of things and it just doesn't work out for them. Whatever the case may be, whether it's just not doing their job as well, getting seated with the wrong kinds of people. There's a slew of problems here and there when it comes to different things like that. But this is what, it basically reminds me of is, dang, our servers in the food industry, because it's a lot in the same, especially when it comes to contract based and things like that. It is a really big step towards improving working conditions as well, especially for QA testers and people who don't have, employment statuses at a lot of these really big businesses. So I'm stoked about this, and I know a lot of these people that are already connected are also really stoked about this as well. Because in general, the game industry has become known for subjecting workers, especially to, incredibly long hours, extra workloads, and the crunch in between of trying to get those workloads, 3 people's worth of things to try and get done in one person's time is absolutely ridiculous. So this opens up a lot for a lot of people. And especially since COVID has changed a lot within how companies are starting to look at their employees. So Epic has also done a few things in pertaining to their new COVID stuff, from like more at home remote working, not overworking people, less hours. It's also been said that a few different places have gone down to like the 4-day work week, things like that have really started benefiting. So this is just like another thing to tag on and add on to the things that they're already doing. And that is absolutely amazing. Like I applaud you, Epic. That's freaking awesome. And I hope, as time goes by too, that a lot of companies are going to start to go in this direction as well. I renamed Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. And hello. Um, Guten Morgen. Yeah. Danke, danke. I'm super sick, so I'm trying to get through without like hacking my brains out or like not being able to enunciate and things like that too. So I'm doing my best. But yes, I'm getting over being sick. Like my body is amazing. Like I feel like I could like go outside and like run around and maybe do some cartwheels and like things like that. But like my throat and my mouth hurts so bad. It's like the end of a cold flu. So Yes, car wheels, right? Uh, but yes, but I will be keeping also a close eye out on different things that are happening, especially within different companies and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens with Epic, and we'll see what happens because they did say all of this stuff wouldn't be starting until April. So we'll figure it out once it gets there. So on to the bad news. This is some bad news. We sure Tiny Home Pro. Oh, sweet! Oh, that's awesome. I love tiny homes, which is actually, um, I believe it will be epic. But that actually like is kind of funny because this story is about tiny people. Okay, all right, cool. I'll get through. I'll get through my matcha and then we'll talk about the tiny home because I want to know about that. Okay, so I don't know what's going on with pro gamers as of late, but I think because of COVID, it gave time for people to be able to like sit and hone on people and watch people stream and do things, especially on pro levels. But it's also opened up pro team people to be at home and be on their computers all the time and apparently start saying things that they really should not say. So the past few years have been insane, with things like that. And I'm sure there are specific things that come to mind. But this past week, there have been a slew of people, and three people in particular, that have been saying some very terrible things. Okay, so this is a pro Tekken player. I don't know if you guys know who this is, but her name is Connie Tani. And she's under fire and also has been fired from her esports team, and also quite a few sponsorships and affiliates have been dropping off from her stuff as of late, along with a few other people who decided to chime into uh, this making fun of short people thing. I don't know. But on February 15th, um, she did a stream and stated men who are under 170 centimeters, so just over 5.5 feet, don't have human rights, adding they should have bone lengthening surgery to compensate for their lack of height. And then it goes on and still keeps going and says short men don't have what they need to succeed in games, is basically what she's stating. Um, so she gets on Twitter later and explains that basically it was a really rude way to explain that she really likes tall men. And I know, like, for some reason to me, as I'm like reading this, I'm like, man, that's a super stretch. Like a super stretch, especially to go from that. But she goes into a little bit further after that and says, I'll tell you what, there's no way a little guy has human rights. Don't get carried away. Don't get carried away. So I know, and I'm just gonna say this out loud, but there are some things that you shouldn't say. And I'm not saying it because, like, number one, I'm an extremely short human being. I am a whole whopping 5'2", and that's on a good day. So that's if I'm standing up straight. If I'm slouching, it's even shorter. So, oh, thank you. Short ladies alive. Yes, but like it does get daunting, especially because you're short. There's a lot of things that are not made for you. Lots of you can fit in pretty much any doorway, including the tiny dwarf house door at Chick-fil-A, rather easily, way easier than pretty much all of your friends most of your life. But it does get daunting, to be a short person. And so, I know a lot of people, especially men, that have been made fun of specifically with this. And it's not kosher. So I would watch what you say, especially because, like, in particular with Connie Tani, she had a lot of money writing on a whole bunch of different stuff and now doesn't have those things anymore. And then to put more on top of it, apparently there have been people just showing up to her house and her parents' house and, like, who find out, where she lives and things like that. So, yeah, left-handed peeps are peeps too. Yeah, and see, every time that people do talk about, short people or tall people, things like that, like, tall people have at least once in their life wished to be shorter for some reason, just like short people wish to be tall, in different points of their life. But we're all special in our own unique ways. And people having their opinions, is one thing. But, making fun of people and making people feel really bad and telling them that they don't have human rights because of their size is really kind of fucked up. But, you know, it does make traveling difficult. Being short makes traveling difficult too because you don't fit in a lot of things. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. You guys didn't have to do that. You can always listen at another time. And I super appreciate the uh, subscribing and gifting too. You guys rock. I appreciate that very much. But yeah, moral of the story, just don't be ugly towards people, especially when you've got money writing on it. Like, famous people do it, and people that are in the limelight do it now and again where they feel like throwing their opinion out is okay, and these are the results that you get from it. So you have to be really careful. Ooh, very cool. Yeah. Yeah, you'll have to tell me about that more too. Okay, so onward. So for those of you who have a PC, I have some cool news. There's a bunch of different things coming for you guys, especially because Microsoft, Xbox, the whole deal. Um, but we're getting some new updates with Microsoft's Windows 11, and one of those things is the HDR game calibration. And for those of you that would like to check this out, it will be coming soon for you guys. Same thing with the Xbox controller calibration for your computer as well. And it's supposed to look just like Xboxes, but we'll see. Hey, yeah, right. Sweet. There's a whole bunch of slew of things, like rumors and things surrounding different stuff with what's coming out with Windows 11 and the different things with PC, because console basically is going to be right there with it, connected to cloud. Like, I had a dream about it the other night just because of the way that it is. Oh, sweet. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so for those of you who don't know what the calibrating HDR is, it's very important because brightness levels aren't the same for every screen that you have, especially if you have different types of monitors. If Windows can't properly detect the maximum and minimum brightness of a panel, it can result in loss of details in bright or dark areas of the image, which can usually be called clipping, or the phenomenon called clipping. Essentially, it means that some colors may try to go beyond the maximum or minimum brightness levels, which can really screw you up, especially if it comes to something like gaming. The Windows HDR calibration app will work similarly to how it works on Xbox, following test patterns recommended by the HDMR gaming interest groups. One test will determine the darkest visible detail that's still visible. Another one will determine the brightest visual detail. and last we'll test the maximum brightness of the display. With all three things determined, Windows should be able to display detailed HDR images much more effectively than it did before. If you've noticed any problems while playing games or watching content on your HDR monitor, this could be a game changer for you guys. Even if you haven't, though, it's a really good idea to start it, just so you can get your monitor basically to the best part that it can. So if you guys are interested in seeing how this is going to be set up and how you can set it up once it does come out, you guys can check out my Discord, which has my sites and sources for everything that I talk about on here. And it's got the details in the blog for you, so that way it's super duper easy for you to be able to find it on your computer. And even if you can't find it, super easy to be able to look it up through your search bar and stuff, like through your PC, just to make it a little bit easier. But I will be letting you guys know when this feature will be coming out. I probably will be letting you guys know through Twitter and Facebook. And I think I've decided, like, little side note for a second, I think I've decided that with those two platforms, those will be the ones that I let you guys know, updates and things like that, where I'm like, hey, I'm going to stay updated with this. That's where I definitely will be updating for you guys. So if you guys are wanting to search something like specifically that, I may have talked about like a month ago, and you're wanting to see updates, all you have to do, like on Facebook or Twitter, is just type in Alpha Kitten and then keyword, whatever you're looking for. And you should be able to find it pretty easily. If not, try and message me through my Discord, and I should be able to get back to you, because that is what I'm going to try and use now as my number one. Hey, I gotta chat. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for being here and listening to my gaming news. I am always stoked, especially if anybody stops by, but especially you too, Jay. But I will talk to you soon, especially about some of the stuff that you're talking about, because I definitely do want to know what's going on with tiny homes, and then what you were talking about with the website. Yes, please. And I hope you have a grand day as well, a really good day. Hopefully I will also feel better and I won't sound like this the next time that you hear my voice. Hopefully it'll be a little bit better. Just a little bit. And tell your dad I said hello and thank you too. But yes. But I will be probably setting that up with my Discord too. So if you guys are wanting to get a hold of me. Oh, love you too. Thank you. Definitely go through my Discord and stuff like that too as well, so that way I can get to you guys a lot easier, because I'm not going to do it through Facebook, and I'm not going to do it through Twitter, because there is so much on there of so many people, and it's just hard to get through. It really is. Okay, so onward. This is really cool. I don't know if you guys know anything about the Golem game, I'm about to tell you some cool stuff. So, Nacon has announced its plans to acquire the developer and publisher of Daedalic Entertainment, and this deal is worth about 53 million euros, which is set to be concluded later this year. Daedalic Entertainment is one of Germany's largest and oldest video game companies, supporting 87 members of staff and sitting on a portfolio of games such as Deponia series, Blackguards, Shadow Tactics, and the current project, The Lord of the Rings, Gollum. We knew through our current collaboration on Gollum that Nacon and Daedalic share the same values and the same objectives to deliver unique experiences to gamers, says Nacon chairman and CEO Alan Falk in the announcement. Therefore, it seemed logical to go further together, and we're extremely happy with this acquisition. It represents a significant step in Nacon's strategy. The deal is the deal is expected to close sometime later this year, once the relevant regulators have approved it. The acquisition will see Daedalic Entertainment join Nacon's roster of 16 studios, which includes the likes of Cyanide Spiders, Eco Software, and a whole bunch more. It will also help Nacon's portfolio of AA games, with Daedalic already planning on releasing 9 additional games in 2022. So I am stoked about this because it just means another Lord of the Rings game. And I had heard something about this like months and months and months and months and months ago. So it was nice to see it kind of like pop up again. And I was like, oh, Gollum. Oh my gosh. Yay. So I definitely will be keeping up on this. And when this will go through, I'm sure most people will hear about this pretty easily, especially because, you know, Lord of the Rings. But I am super stoked about that. Super stoked, especially for what might come from it as well. I love acquisitions like this because it kind of opens up the door to more of like a mysterious of like, what will happen? Like what is going to come from these games? What will come from them now, especially because there's a lot more money pumped into it. So I'm stoked about that. And I'm also stoked about this, and I know you guys are about to be stoked too. So PlayStation Treat Codes is what they're calling it. Contest is giving gamers a chance to win a PS5. So if anyone's still looking to purchase a PS5, you guys might be in luck for actually being able to win this. So as of February 2nd, PlayStation 5 sales have hit 17.3 million. But that doesn't mean that the semiconductor chip shortages and supply chain issues haven't prevented folks from getting one, because they definitely have. Anyone who's tried in vain to purchase one online since its release knows that although it's gotten better, it's still a struggle to nab one before bots and scalpers. Even then, $500 for a new console may be out of many people's price range. Fortunately, Sony is trying to help that out. Fans can earn one of 14 PlayStation 5 consoles by spotting a so-called treat code. Over the next 2 weeks, codes will pop in unexpected places, such as on websites or in person at sports, film, gaming, and music events. The hashtag PS5 treat codes is a good place to find codes that have been found already. Fans can start entering the codes at PlayStation's site, but we'll have to keep an eye out for more in the weeks ahead. The PlayStation 5 is the fastest selling console in the United States history, even with its issues getting in consumers in the middle of a global pandemic. The Xbox Series X is the fastest selling Xbox console of all time, but it's a bit behind at around about 12 million units sold. Of course, both are still dwarfed by the Nintendo Switch, which is around 102 million units sold so far. So if you guys are wanting to see what these treat codes look like, you guys can hashtag PS5 treat codes on a bunch of different social medias to be able to see what people have found so far. That way it can give you a little bit of an idea of how you might be able to find one, or different places that you might be able to go to where one might pop out at you or be in a random place. So definitely check that out if you guys are wanting to win a PlayStation 5, because that's pretty dope. It's like an Easter egg just in like life. Anywhere. It could be anywhere. And I would imagine that it's probably not just anywhere. I haven't personally looked at these yet, but I'm definitely going to sometime today. Or maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Because I don't win things. So there's like no point in getting excited about it. I'm just like, whatever. But definitely check those out if you guys, if you're a lucky person and lucky in that way, or you just want to try your luck on it. Or you just want an Easter egg and see if you can find some somewhere and, give someone you love a PlayStation 5. Especially because it's free. I mean, it's free. If it wasn't free, it'd be different, but it's free. So, speaking of Sony doing some cool stuff, so I know you guys have not put your controllers down very much. I've actually seen a couple of like personal friends from like high school and stuff like that. That's like, I guess I can put my controller down for Horizon Forbidden West, because it is that good. It is. But as I was reading about some of the cool stuff that people have been doing on Horizon Forbidden West because, you know, I don't have money to get it right now. I ran into a badass article that started talking about how Sony will be planting trees because of Horizon Forbidden West. But it's this whole thing. Okay, so let me explain. So PlayStation says it will build aloes forest around the world as part of its launch plans for Horizon Forbidden West. For those of you who don't know who Aloy is right here on the beautiful screen, and she is the main character from Horizon Forbidden West. The firm has teamed up with projects pretty much in like a whole bunch of different places. In the US, the UK, France, Germany, Canada, New Zealand. And the initiative is supported by Play for Forests, which is the UN-backed project that is part of Playing for the Planet Alliance. In the US, Sony has teamed up with Arbor Day Foundation and will plant a tree for every player who achieves the Reached the Daunt trophy, up to a maximum of 288,000 trees. This will help complete reforestation projects in California, Florida, Wisconsin, the firm says. So if you guys are in the United States and you have this game, if you can reach the Daunt trophy, this will help to plant some trees just because you got a friggin' trophy. In the UK, the partnership is with the Eden Project, and that will result in 12-acre wildflower habitat being sown in Lancashire next month. In New Zealand, street artist Fox has created Horizon Forbidden West artwork across Auckland, and Sony will plant a tree for every social share of the artwork. The aim is to plant 1,000 trees. In France, similar to the United States, Sony has partnered with My Tree to plant a tree for every 5 Reached the Daunt trophies that players who have opted in to achieve. The maximum amount is 10,000 trees. In Canada, the work is with the WWF in rehabilitating seagrass on the coast of British Columbia. Sony will donate $1 Canadian for every copy of the game sold. And that one is going to be up to $100,000. And finally, in Germany, PlayStation is collaborating with I'm going to try this. Schützengemeinschaft, Deutsche Wald, SWD. Hopefully I said that right. To plant a tree for every trophy shared via hashtag #AloesWald on Twitter, up to a maximum of 5,000 trees for them, and the trees are part of the research forest in Varia. Sony's current commitment is to have a zero environmental footprint throughout the life cycle of its products and business activities by 2050. Sony's Interactive Entertainment says it has purchased a carbon offset from the Gold Standard organization, which is the equivalent to emissions arising from 10 million hours on PlayStation consoles. So this is really freaking awesome. And this excites me in a lot of ways because I'm really, 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 really hoping that a lot of companies really start to do things like this. But also, side note, I also hope that the companies that are deciding to do this are going to do the research behind it, and it won't be like down here in Georgia where they decided to plant a whole bunch of male trees instead of, you know, like a half and half, or maybe like a little bit of male trees, a lot of female trees, because it creates a whole lot of pollen. And you have to be really careful of that pollen count, man. But this is super, super, super exciting in a whole lot of ways, because this is going to help not only the environment and the emissions and things that are going on, but this really reflects a lot on the companies that are also trying to make somewhat of a difference. And this is very cool. I'm really stoked about this. So if you guys would like to look into this a little bit more specifically of like where you live for your regions and things like that, so that way you can take part in trying to be a piece of this, you guys can check out my Discord, my sites and sources, and my blog is boom right there. It's like third from the last, I think. Super easy to find for you guys. So that way, you guys can help plant some friggin' trees. I love that so much. That's so freaking cool. I, 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 I don't even know. Like, when I read the blog, I was like, oh my God, like, this is so exciting. It's kind of like the guy who, I believe, one of the creators of Fortnite or owns Fortnite or whatever. He's been taking all this money and buying rainforests so people can't touch it. Like, things like that just are super exciting. Okay, so other exciting things. Majora's Mask is coming to Nintendo Switch on Elden Ring launch day, and it is fully official now, so you can mark it off on your calendars, February 25th. So you can, spend hours and hours and hours battling all of the things that you want to battle. But Nintendo has confirmed that Majora's Mask will be on Nintendo Switch, and it will be added to Nintendo Switch's N64 library this next week. For those of you who don't know what Majora's Mask is, it was released in 2000 and is one of the predecessors of Ocarina of Time. It is the darker and very different game, however, built around a repeating 3-day cycle where Link has to figure out how to save the world from imminent destruction by the moon. A remake for the 3DS called The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D was also released in 2015. Nintendo 64 games are available for subscribers of Nintendo Switch Online who pay for the new $50 a year expansion pack. The expansion pack also includes a selection of Sega Genesis games and extra content for Animal Crossing, New Horizons, as well as upcoming DLC for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Majora's Mask is the 12th N64 game to be added to the library. Pokemon Snap, Mario Golf, Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards, and F-Zero 5 are also future confirmed titles that will also be making its way as well. So I know you guys are super stoked about it, which I love the Zelda games, but Majora's Mask probably is closer to the bottom of Zelda games that I do love. But it's still a Zelda game, so I still love it, But mark it off for you guys. That is going to be coming, like I said, February 25th, the same day that Elden Ring drops. So, trying to figure out which one you want to do first. I say Elden Ring first. Then when it's time to go night-night, get all your jammies on, brush your teeth, lay down, play a couple hours of Majora's Mask, and then go to sleep. Yeah, that sounds like a great night. I wish I could be there right now. Okay, so last but not least today, we as a country have been seeing a push more and more and more into the gaming industry, and as well as like eSports facilities, different things of those natures, different colleges that are finally taking a more serious look into the gaming industry because, you can make a lot of money, baby. You really can. So, for those of you who are North Carolina State, or you're thinking about going to North Carolina State, or you happen to be going through, this college is absolutely beautiful too, by the way, for those of you who have not been here. But North Carolina State received $16 million, and they are now building an eSports facility on campus. So this arena is said to offer student hands-on learning experience in computer science and game design, as well as for those outside its esports and gaming community. This includes allowing hospitality management students the opportunity to plan esports events through the facility, while social science circles can research the effects of esports on gamers. The University Esports Club competes in 8 game titles and has between 150 and 200 active members. North Carolina State's Vice Chancellor for Information Technology, Mark Hoyt, leads the university's esports initiative. The funding for North Carolina State's eSports facilities comes from a state initiative to cultivate esports in North Carolina. In November, Roy Cooper, the state's governor, announced a $5 million eSport industry grant fund in collaboration with the Greater Raleigh Convention and Visitors Bureau to encourage esports events and productions in the state. In December, the Raleigh Convention Center hosted the Halo Championship Series Raleigh Major, in which more than 200 different teams competed for a total of $350,000 in prize winnings. North Carolina State's esports arena is expected to open before 2024. The university plans to construct a pilot version of the facilities in the interim to increase students' interest of gather input on its designs. So this is really awesome for, a whole slew of reasons, but also for North Carolina as well. This is going to also start a lot of states moving in the same direction as well. So I definitely would keep a lookout, especially in your state, of what may be going on as well. Atlanta is, also the hub for so many friggin' things now. It's not even funny. And one of those things that's starting to make a big impact is gaming as well. There are so many different things in Atlanta that are starting to come up. And I know that at some point, this is going to become more of a norm just because, that's just the way that it's going in the technology era, and it will go that way. So I definitely will be keeping up with this, as well as other colleges that will be going in this direction, because this is really cool, especially when it comes to computer sciences, when it comes to health regulations. Now that VR is really starting to become a really big thing, more hands-on experience surrounding everything that you can possibly, dream of right there on your college campus is really, really amazing, because there's a lot of things we don't know about, especially when it comes to, health, when it comes to taking care of ourselves, when it comes to gaming, just an overall, that we really need to take our time on and are taking our time on and still learning. But this is really opening up the doors and the opportunities for it as well. And not just that, but really being able to bring in a lot of money to the surrounding areas, just to make the areas better and things like that as well. The opportunities are endless. Like, I can literally think of just so many things right now that are going through my head. But like I said, I definitely will be keeping up with stuff like this always. Definitely pay attention to my socials, so that way you guys can see any updates through there if I don't do them for my Matcha mornings. And if you guys are wanting to see or go over anything that I talked about, don't forget that all of my stuff is also on my Discord on my sites and sources underneath my Matcha mornings, which is where you can get pretty much anything. So, like even like my menu of what I'm going to talk about, different stuff like that. So that concludes it for today. And my mouth hurts so much. I appreciate you guys being here and listening, even though it's been difficult to kind of speak and I sound not so great. But that's okay. Hopefully within the week I'll be doing a heck of a lot better. So I will be doing a lot of things this week. I had a malfunction with my keyboard, which is not working anymore. So I had to get a new keyboard, which I have now. Very stoked. Everything keeps breaking, so I'm doing my best. My headphones broke this morning. I plugged them up to my computer to charge them, and it was like, your device is malfunctioned. And now it won't connect to anything. So I'm like, why? So, anyways, thank you guys again very much for checking out my Matcha morning stuff this morning. If you guys are wanting to contribute or be a member towards any of my stuff, definitely check out my Buy Me a Coffee. I'm trying to kind of get that out there a little bit more. That's basically like my behind the scenes stuff where all my info, all my cool things are. I write blogs and do a whole slew of different stuff. Even though it is a membership and it is a way to contribute, you don't necessarily have to do those things. I do have a whole bunch of free stuff on there as well for you to be able to take advantage of. So if you guys would like to check that out, that would be absolutely amazing. Tell your friends about it. It's $5 a month if you guys would like to become members. I'm not trying to steal money from your pockets, but I would like to be able to get things for my stuff and get nicer things and to put more money towards my cosplays and things like that as well. Like I have things envisioned in my mind and I can't do them because money stops me. So, if you guys are wanting to contribute or become a member, you guys can also do yearly subscriptions on there as well. It's like $50 a year, so you save a little bit of money. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. You guys can also check out the little things that I have on there too. If you are a contributor, you basically get everything that's on the site except for my portfolio stuff. You guys can't see the whole thing until it becomes public. And my members, you guys get everything. So everything for your beautiful eyeballs. And that includes all my portfolios and photo shoots and stuff like that. Which is basically like where my cosplay stuff will be. So that way, you guys can see all my stuff firsthand and get to, see the sneak peekies before anybody else can. But I do have a bunch of different things on there. And if you guys would like to as well, I am basically on every social media that's out there, looking into some other ones as well. But I'm on Facebook, Instagram, lots of different fun stuff. So definitely check me out on all that. I also will be uploading to YouTube as well. I'm not, because money, I don't have a way to be able to stream on multiple platforms yet. So I will be posting my matcha mornings for you guys on my YouTube as well. And then once I figure out my Facebook stuff, I will be posting my things on there and maybe even get to Spotify at some point, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, definitely check all my stuff out. Definitely hit me up. And I think that's about it. I feel like I had more, but I don't think I did. I don't know. If I do, I'll let you guys know. All right, you guys. Thank you again so much for being here this morning. And hopefully next time that you guys hear my voice, I will sound 1,000 times better. All right. Thank you guys again so much. And I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful morning and a wonderful rest of your week. And I will see you guys on Wednesday morning because I'll be going to mornings now for all of my wonderful streaming. So you guys can check me out for that. And don't forget too, I've got my squad nights on Friday and I can move some stuff around, if you guys want to play at different times on Friday instead of just like in the mornings. But just, let me know. You guys can get to me through my Discord and I'm going to try and make that like a little bit simpler. So that way it's like here for squads nights or whatever, easy to find. But yeah, I will also be posting too on my social media. So if you guys are wanting to squad it up, I will be posting on there to remind you guys too. Okay, that's it. Thank you guys again so much. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will be seeing you guys then. Bye, guys.